So thanks for having a look at this. This is the Future of Text draft as of the 5th of November, which is fireworks night in the United Kingdom. And this is what it looks like. We have our table of contents, which is, as we've discussed a few times, not very useful. Some of them have a lot of subsections, some have few. And I've decided to organize by name, which is not always a good idea. Just look here, for instance, if we go back to Fabian and me, we have plenty things in there. Is that useful? I don't know. But we go in, and here we have the opening spread with some legalese stuff saying everybody owns this. And then we have one of the few images in the book. I thought it warms up the book a little bit. Vince sitting here with us. And then we get into the text, and the traditional navigation is page by page. This book has over, let's go and have a look. It has over 650 pages. That's where the visual meta goes. So let's say we've gone through this amazingly fascinating editorial. We go to Andreas, and we don't want to read Andrea because we've already read it. We're going through the book again. So normally, arrow, arrow, arrow. This was a transcript. So it's a lot of pages, and I can't just keep clicking. Every page I have to stop and make sure that, oops, I don't go too far. So I went to Andy Campbell. So what the guys who did Liquid have done on top of Jacob's work is quite phenomenal. I do, instead of arrow right, which is next page, I go arrow down. Boom! I go to the next level without heading. So this way I can go through the whole darn book. I mean, look at this. Barbara Tversky, who is editing a lot of this now, her section is absolutely massive because she had so many images. So if you've read it, or it's not the topic you're interested in, it's a lot of clicking. Arrow down, boom, we go to Björn. Bob Horn, also long section. Caitlin's piece is not in here yet, as you can see. But look at this. Some pieces are only 2 pages, some are a lot longer. So the whole point is when we get to a section, here's one I need to edit. I need to add a space there, the heading. But anyway, point is you get an idea of what these pieces are about, which is better than any table of contents. So we can go through. I just think this is so cool because it makes sense. You know, you go down a whole heading or back up. You can go both ways, of course. Oh, there's Jaron Lanier. Wow, I wonder, what's he talking about? It's actually listed 1, 2, 3 here. So I can choose, I'm going to read that. But even in the middle, I'm not reading anymore. Boom, down arrow, get to the next section. Here's Livia showing herself with a physical book, talking about virtual books and access. So it just becomes a lot more readable, I think. And we now have we have this graffiti wall at the end of the book. And I don't know if you noticed, but we're missing some pages when I do the jump here. So clearly there's some testing to be done with the visual meta. This is all based on the visual meta, by the way. So that's good. We have now Stephen Fry as the new closing piece, which is lovely. Didn't want to ask for an image, so I just put his signature on there. So yeah, we have a bit of a timeline. Timeline, of course, is not intended for people to look through unless you want to. But let's say someone's interested in paper, they do Command F. It shows all the occurrences of the word paper. So if they weren't planning to, but look at the end, here are all references in the timeline for paper. Command F to go back out. Maybe someone is studying Chinese. I have a clue what's going on here. We have Jack talking about semantic writing. And now we have the timeline with all kinds of things on Chinese. But if you look at this now, go further in. Click, click, click. Oh yeah, we have a few pictures. They're very high quality. So if we zoom in on them, you can see it's not so bad. So hopefully we can do some cool things in VR, extract them and show them in better ways. But the glossary is more readable now. There's still kind of a bit of editing, like we have 2 Adam Burns and so on. But if you look at the glossary, it is missing some of the formatting we had before. So we can do in the glossary anywhere else this select text and Command F. So here I'm finding references to Bob Horn in the document. And as you can see, the glossary definition is on top, because normally you wouldn't do it in the glossary, you do it somewhere else. But point is that you can click on anything bold. So I'm going to click on the word books and so on. Doesn't always get it right. You see this NIC for Nick, which is linked to the wrong place. So we have a little bit like AR goes here, I shouldn't. So we have a little bit of cleaning up to do on that. But it's a work in progress. By the way, if you do read in Reader, press Z to zoom. So you can see it here, and you can do the Command Fs. So we have information about Doug Engelbart, huge influence on us. Click on author, click on the company. Most of them, they work. This is just if they're inside the text, they're sometimes a bit funny. So obviously I'm linked to a lot of places here, University of Southampton. We can see here Stephen Harnard, who is not in the book, but he is in my thesis, is mentioned in the timeline, like we talked about earlier. It just automatically happened. And yeah, I'm excited by this. Just want to show one more thing. Command minus folds the document into an outline, just like a table of contents. So you can keep doing Command minus. So if you want to read Bob Horn's work, here it is. Or you can go to Fabienne and read about, oh no, don't read that. He's saying why not to use PDF. No. Oh, Case of Books, don't read that either. It's awful, horrible. Of course I'm joking. I have written pieces as a riposte to him. In fact, what I'm going to do now, since you're still here, this is the journal. I'm going to link to that so you can see how that's done and export it. The book is quite large. It's 1.97 gigabytes. So sometimes export takes a while, maybe 10-15 seconds, and even opening it sometimes. But anyway, so I go to me, and I go to, page-to-page navigation is what I'm talking about now. And then I'm going to find that piece where I talked about Fabienne. So where is that? Here we go. Wrote a piece. And I select that text to Command Shift K. And then I look for Fabienne here. I've gone too far. The case against books. Boom. And you can see now the typeface is the same as the headings. So I do Command Shift E to export this. And this is when I would normally edit out because it takes quite a while. But if we look on the screen, 207,000 words plus images. So what the document does now is make a formatted version that has aligned text on every page. Page numbers will be added after that is read back in. Finds the page numbers, produces a new set of PDFs with the page numbers, and then adds the table of contents. So it's a lot of work. But at least the table of contents and the references and the glossary and the endnotes are automatically generated. I'm going to save it on the desktop. Escape to go full screen, like with all the software. And here also, it takes a second for this to be parsed. Now we have all the defined concepts here. If we want to just go straight to them, which is the same as the glossary, we have all the headings here too. So we could do it this way. So I'm just going to jump to my page here, the case for books. And Fabienne wrote a bit against books. Click on that, and I'm at his piece. So it's kind of nice. That's a normal PDF feature, of course, but I think it's quite nice to be able to do that. That was a lot longer than I planned to talk. I'm grateful for you having a look at this. This is my attempt at trying to make this particular medium more readable. I think that there is a lot to be said for normally beautiful typography. We spent hundreds of years of this kind of typography. Before that, thousands of years on writing. I hope we can go much, much further in VR. But I honestly feel that reading something like this in VR is a great start. So we shouldn't just have badly rendered type just because we can do stuff with it. We should really consider the basic beauty that nice typefaces and basic design offers. Again, thanks very much. That's over 10 minutes. That's a long time. Bye.